Okay. The mystery continues. Oh, the seal's kind of stuck, huh?
Hasn't been opened in years.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And trucks have a really bad affordability problem right now. Whether it be new or used, prices are absolutely through the roof. And I experienced this firsthand because I've been in the market for a truck. After selling off a lot of my cars, including my big tow vehicle, my 3/4 ton Explorer conversion van, as well as my 95 GMC Sierra, I thought, well, I'd get a used truck, something 3 to 5 years old, just to use to go pick up hoopties. And boy, was I in for a shock when I looked at the market. For example, a 2021 GM 3/4 ton with a 6.6 liter, it was 60 grand with 20 or 30,000 miles, and that was only $5,000 off of its new MSRP. Now, a 2017 GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate Package, I had that truck years ago, traded it in to get the Gladiator, I think in 2020 for around 45,000. Well, I found one with almost 90,000 miles, and it was still $40,000. Prices are still just sky high. That's crazy for a truck with almost 100,000 miles. New that truck was like $50,000, so it's barely depreciated, even though it's old and has almost 100,000 miles. So I sort of gave up and bought this. This is basically the most luxurious pickup truck money could buy in 1972, and they are incredible bargains. Not only were they bargains new, in the 1970s this would have been around $7,000 or $8,000. Adjusting for inflation, that's about $40-ish, $45,000 for a fully loaded luxury pickup truck. The idea of a luxury pickup truck was sort of new in this era, but it basically has everything you would want or need in a pickup truck, and I bought it for only $12,000, and it is an incredible, amazing survivor with all the options in 1972. So for now, I've given up on buying a new truck. The market is just absolutely crazy, and if you can wait, I suppose you should as well. But I have a lot of projects around the farm, different things to do, so I needed some kind of truck, and unfortunately, my million-mile Ram is, well, it's kind of sick. I filmed it earlier where it was acting up. Yeah, it just stalls out randomly and then takes a very long time to restart. It seems like it started for fuel, even though I've spent $4,000 going through the fuel system when it died 200 miles short of a million miles, which certainly hurts. And it's been well behaved for a year since then, but now it's definitely acting up to where I can't trust it. I didn't trust it to go pick up this F250. I used my dad's GMC Sierra to go get it, but now this thing's back on the farm. We're going to put it to work, well, later. But first, let me give you a tour of the most luxurious pickup truck in 1972 and why I think these are fantastic bargains price-wise. Oh, she's gorgeous. Now, I know $40,000 is still a lot of money when you adjust for inflation. What this thing was new, around $7,000, $8,000. But if you look at the current truck market, a fully loaded new one like this would be every bit of $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 for an F250 with all of the options, which is just absolutely nuts. That's why they're sitting on car lots unsold, just getting packed up. Nobody wants to make that kind of payment, especially in today's interest rates. So they just sit, and I guess manufacturers don't want to make lower trim ones because they don't make as much money. So the cheaper ones, the Ford Mavericks, for example, the small little economical pickup truck, they can't keep those on the lot. They sell so far over. But then they're packed full of $80,000, $90,000 trucks. This truck, though, was the end of the line for this generation of Ford F-Series, which had so many innovations. And it was the first time they started looking at trucks as sort of luxury do-it-all vehicles. Before this, trucks were utility workhorses, not thought to haul the entire family or haul people with very much comfort. But obviously, farmers needed a truck, and they really didn't need to have a second car. So the more they could put car-like features in these, the better they sold. So that's exactly what we have here. And it is quite a mouthful. It is a Ford F250 Camper Special Ranger XLT. So Ranger was an option package back in the day. Of course, Ranger nowadays is the smaller truck, but you can see that is a mouthful because this truck literally has everything you can get in 1972 minus four-wheel drive. But even with the four-wheel drive, you gave up one really cool part of this truck. So 1972 or in the 1960s, the big innovation with this truck was the twin I-beam front suspension, which gave it a car-like ride. You can see down here two beams going across each other symmetrically gave it sort of an independent suspension with a very soft, plush ride. And then in the back was leaf springs, but they were sort of dynamic leaf springs, not with air ride or magnetic ride control like we have nowadays. Basically, there's this arm that pushes down on the leaf springs when you load it down and sort of adjust the load. So it always has a soft ride, whether you have a camper in the back or hauling a big load or not. So the Camper Special, this is the long bed to put in a slide-in camper, and the bed is absolutely massive. It is so nice to see an 8-foot bed, and I do understand it being a long bed in the truck world, vintage truck world, it's worth less, but that's a good thing because if you're buying something, you want to use it. Obviously, a short wheelbase four-wheel drive version of this would be like $50,000. This one being $12,000 because it is the Camper Special, the long wheelbase, the long bed. It's much more affordable and much more usable. Nowadays, everybody has a crew cab, so that cuts into it. And then you have a 5 or 6 foot bed, which gives you so much less room for activities and hauling stuff. I can get a big couch in this thing, refrigerators, anything I want, and look really, really cool doing it. Now, another part that really helps with the ride with older cars in general is the rubber. No, it doesn't have 20 or 22 inch rims. It has really small 14, 15 inch steel wheels with hubcaps, but then all of this rubber here and all this air in between also gives you more shock absorption, so it gives you a better ride. Newer trucks, they just have a harsher ride because they want to make them safer, obviously handle better in a slalom, like a moose test kind of situation, but then they have to make up for it with expensive air ride suspension or magnetic suspension to give it that ride, but it's still not quite like this, just so plush and comfortable. And you can see there is a few accessories. Now, I bought this from the second owners. The first owner supposedly was the owner of this dealership, Lewis Ford, so he definitely knew how to option this thing out. And it does have a few accessories. You can see the front hitch to sort of put in a boat or whatever, and then around the back it has a custom bumper which is welded right to the frame. You definitely wouldn't want to rear end this truck, but then you can see a little bit of wood grain. It's all faded here in the Ford. It would have been down the side as well, but somebody decided to touch it up in black. Kind of a bummer. I did buy this thing thinking it was original paint. I didn't see it in person before I bought it, and it has had some paint work before, definitely on the top part, the hood, the roof is not original paint, but this is the original color. So let's go inside here, and you can see it is definitely a luxury roller for 1972. So you have this beautiful pattern quilted door panel with some faux wood in the roller windows, no power windows yet, but then look at this luxurious bench seat that looks like somebody's living room sofa in the 1970s. Has a beautiful pattern to it. Also, well cushioned, well springed. You just sink into these seats, this big bench, and it's just so dang comfortable. I get that the newer seats, they have all the ergonomics, the lumbar support and all this stuff. It's really a pet peeve of mine that they don't give very much cushion, say like in my 2005 Escalade that has all that lumbar and stuff, but still plenty of foam padding. New trucks, they're downright uncomfortable in my opinion, and I definitely felt it on the really long trip to Arkansas to pick up this truck. Eureka Springs, Arkansas is where I picked it up. Leonard from the 911 Den, shout out to him for finding this truck for me. It's a neighbor of his. But you have a wood rubber steering wheel, so this is the finest rubber wood right here in the steering wheel, kind of falling apart. But this one looks quite a bit more realistic. The wood down here and the chrome trim, but you also look AM radio and air conditioning. 1972, this truck had optional air conditioning and it got it. Also a headliner, sliding rear window, power steering, power brakes. So this is the top of the line luxury roller right here. Even the dual tanks, you have one tank here that's sort of behind the driver's seat or the big bench, and then another one that runs along the back. So you had dual tanks for that long trip cross-country camper with your slide-in with the family. Now this thing was used for the last 20 years as sort of a canoe hauler to the lake, so it had very sparse use, which is why it is so well preserved. But there are a lot of these trucks out there like this, and their mechanicals are just so darn simple. Under the hood of this one is the big boy. 390 cubic inch V8, the big 390, which I believe on the four-wheel drives, you couldn't get this massive V8. So Yes, I do give up four-wheel drive, which does add some value, but it does take away from the ride. You don't have as much power, but you do get this big 390 cubic inch V8, and it doesn't look like it has ever been apart. Now with the Camper Special, you got a dual battery setup as well, and a bigger capacity alternator, so you could go camping. Obviously have a separate battery for your camping accessories and all that stuff. And everything just looks so well built. This hood, very beefy, real chrome bumpers, everything just built to last forever, to be rebuilt. In this case, this truck has never been rebuilt, and amazingly, it has no creaks, it has no rattles, it has no mysterious weird things at all, other than the bed box, which is another option, that storage locker under there, which they don't have the keys to. They never did, the previous owners, in over 20 years. They weren't able to open it. So I do want the Car Wizard to open it up and see what's inside, and also inspect the thing. But as we head up the Wizards, you all need to experience this absolute total time warp with me. It does look a little rough around the edges, but the way this thing drives, it's just absolutely unbelievable. So let's head up to the Car Wizards. Pops right over. That side pipe exhaust, which this one has, does sound so darn good. Nice 3-speed automatic. The power steering and brakes, I could really drive this thing with my pinky like a Lincoln. It is so nice. A little over assisted, but in a truck, that doesn't really matter, obviously. All right, I'll roll up the window almost all the way and hit it. The air conditioning is not working right now, but the fan certainly does blow cold. Not the fastest thing in the world. We're at 40. There's 55. I'll roll up the window all the way just so you can hear how quiet this thing is. So the ride, so nice with that twin I-beam front suspension. It really was revolutionary, and you can see I'm very smooth and relaxed in here. It does cruise at 70, no problem at all. Obviously, I give up quite a bit of safety here with this truck when it comes to modern features in that kind of sense. Obviously a big sacrifice there, but the experience is so darn cool, and I'm not giving up very much. You don't need heated seats in the steering wheel and all the gobbledygook infotainment in the truck. I do have an AM radio. It works. It'll play classic country all day long until the end of time. This thing is just so darn cool. Anything older than this and it would be kind of hard to drive, like a 2-speed automatic or a manual transmission. No assistance when it comes to the brakes. Power steering would have been tougher to find. This is where it is a great mix of modern features, the mix of old and new, but it certainly has this incredible vintage look, and the patina, well, obviously looks great as well. Sunflowers are blooming. Well, let's see what the Car Wizard thinks about this truck. As far as issues go, there isn't much. The air conditioning not working is definitely a thing. The gauges, the lights don't come on at night. That temperature gauge should be creeping up. It should be warmed up by now, but it is not moving. And I'm told that the dual fuel tank system hasn't been used in a very long time. So the secondary fuel tank, don't touch it unless you want to feed some very old nasty gas through the system, which I'm not sure I need, so we'll talk to the Car Wizard about it. But one really cool thing is I have some maintenance records up here from the 80s and 90s. So you have an oil change in 92 at 58,000 miles, another one 87 at 50,000 miles. So I do have some service records. But I know this truck has been used very sparingly over the last 20-something years. It's leaking from a few places, but still driving fantastically. There should be some work, but hopefully not too much. We'll see what the Car Wizard thinks. Alright. Moment of truth to the Wizard. I know he's traumatized with farm trucks, but... Oh, there he is. Is that a... No way. He didn't tell me this was coming. Wizard! Are you fixing the Knight Industries 2000?
I wouldn't touch that line with a 10-foot drive shaft. Sorry, no free samples.
It seems to be fully functional.
Yeah, it does all kinds of cool things.
I am the voice of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor. KITT for easy reference. A kit if you prefer.
Very cool. This isn't like a Video Bob kit though, right?
No, this is Knight Industries.
Okay.
Out of Kentucky.
Very neat. And of course, yep, has the strobe.
Yes.
So what are you doing to this thing?
There's a lot of automotive things, not really with the kit portion of it, but like power windows, door latch, things like that. So air conditioning.
Well, you are packed in the shop, but not really with my stuff and cool stuff. I mean, this weird colored Audi,
Yeah.
the Lotus, and I'm wondering what you're going to think about this, because I know you're a little traumatized with farm trucks, but this one's pretty special, I feel like.
This one's nice.
Well, so it's a pretty good survivor. I thought it was all original paint, but it's not. But it's still a 72 Ford Ranger package, camper special. So it's the long bed, has the 390, runs great.
Wow.
A few things not working though. One of them being the air conditioning. Yeah, dig right in here.
No air conditioning, huh?
It's got the big compressor, but doesn't really do anything. It blows.
It's not locked up. It might be just low on refrigerant.
Wouldn't that be something? But, yeah, just a dusty old farm truck. It's only had 2 owners since 72. Last people had it over 20 years. Left it in a kind of a lean-to.
Looks like a little nest or something going on there.
I suppose you're right. Yeah. Yeah, a little kind of leaky, but solid.
Well, it sounded when you drove in, it sounded really good.
Yeah, good oil pressure. No, rattles or any kind of creaks or anything weird like that. It drives beautifully. So I'm not sure what issues you would find as far as that goes. It's just like the air conditioner doesn't work. The temperature gauge doesn't work, so I don't know if it's overheating. The lights at night, all the lights work except for the gauges, so I can't see how fast I'm going.
Okay.
But overall, not much to complain about. They did say they haven't used the auxiliary tank in many, many years. So, it's that bad?
Oh, God.
Oh, it's that's rotten.
It smells like an old tractor. That's bad. Yeah, I definitely, unless you want to spend a lot of money, I wouldn't even ever use that tank.
Yeah.
Just use this one.
Okay. Do you still drain the old fuel out of it?
I can.
Okay. And then the bed? See, they put this piece of plywood down. But all they used this thing was to just haul their canoes and stuff to the river, so...
So they didn't scratch the paint or the canoe.
Yeah, but the bed's really nice. The truck doesn't have any rust.
Man, you just don't find these anymore. The body, especially, that's not all rusted out.
Right. With it, as crazy expensive as modern trucks are, this made a lot more sense to me, especially for all the stuff that I'm going to be needing to do around the farm, a lot of landscaping, so going to the flower shops, hauling furniture, that kind of stuff. A nice big long bed is really hard to find nowadays, unless it's something vintage.
This is definitely the ticket. It does everything you need it to do, and it doesn't cost $78,000.
Right. But it is 50 years old, so it could cost me $7,800 to sort everything out, I suppose.
I don't even know if it would be that much, but we can get it on the lift and take a look underneath.
Okay. Doesn't she just sound great?
It does. It sounds really good.
Side pipes. Just like your Viper.
There's no weird noises, nothing strange. It's just smooth running. It's really smooth.
It's very yachty, burbly.
Yep. I miss my old yacht sometimes.
Sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, under hood, everything did look pretty simple. There is one mystery over here that I'm hoping you can solve. The previous owners who owned it for over 20 years, they never had the key to the lockbox. So they have never been in there.
I could drill it, but I don't know if you want to damage it or...
Well, somebody's...
You got to do something with it.
Well, I want to see what's inside.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I could do that today.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let's take a look under the hood again. Did you want to do that now?
Sure. Just can't get enough of that 390, huh?
I want to see if it's a 2-barrel or a 4-barrel.
Okay. It's got some pretty good pep, but...
It is a 2-barrel.
Yeah, and a 2 nest.
Ugh.
But, whoa! Okay. Well, any current residents, or...
No.
All right.
Simple Motorcraft 2-barrel.
Yeah? So what's the little pot on the side there?
That's the choke. It's
Okay.
electric choke.
Looks like it was recently worked on or wired back up, huh?
Yeah. Looks like maybe they had a bad wire and they rewired it or something.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's so simple on these. It's just all levers and...
Yeah, is this the heater valve here?
Yeah, you pull a lever and it opens and closes the heater
It's
valve.
literally a cable going into the cabin that opens and closes the heater. No, no pods or actuators or any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, these are so simple to work on. I mean, I cut my teeth on stuff like this, and nowadays I could work on this truck almost blindfolded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so easy. There's nothing stressful or hard about these at all.
Ready to go up?
Yeah, let's get it on the lift.
The Wizard was just saying how easy these are to work on, and then you can't get it off the ground, huh?
Yeah, they've got some kind of a plate over the auxiliary tank.
Oh.
Of camper special type stuff on there. I really don't want to hurt your truck, so...
Yeah, if we went too far back, then it'd be too front heavy and would just come down, crush us, and kill us.
Yeah, we don't need that. So I think we'll get it on a 4-post lift.
Just drive it on?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we haven't had this problem since the Maybach 62,
I know.
the long wheelbase.
It's just so strangely shaped underneath. It's just easier just to drive it on and we can take a look.
All right. Well, fits very easily here.
I can tell it's had different mirrors in the past,
Yes.
and it now has these.
Yep.
Pretty common on these old trucks.
All right, let's see if she's just as pretty underneath. Starting at the front end here.
It's a little oily. It looks like the fuel pump gasket's leaking oil there.
Yeah.
Probably valve cover gaskets for sure.
It's got just a buildup of goo, basically, but
It's not
nothing
bad.
hemorrhaging, huh?
No. That's the good old twin I-beam suspension. So this one goes all the way over to the right, and this one goes all the way over to the left. Kind of an interesting setup. They've
Very
had that
cool.
for a long time.
Yeah,
Well, they had that for a long time. They don't have it anymore.
right. But then the next generation had that solid front axle, at least with the four-wheel drives.
Yeah.
So they would have been different.
Yep. Got big dual piston calipers.
Whoa. Guess it's the camper special they wanted to.
Yeah, those are big boys.
I mean, that is almost supercar brakes there. That's that's really cool. Okay.
Take a peek under here.
Whoa. More oily.
Probably a transmission service will take care of this leak with a new gasket.
All right.
And this is all valve cover gasket stuff here. But again, it's not hemorrhaging. It's just a little coating probably from sitting.
A few gaskets and probably an hour or two of a good cleaning
Yeah.
would help this thing a ton, huh?
Here's this big sheet pan here. Why I couldn't put it on the lift. I didn't
Oh.
want to crush that.
Right. So it's a 2 fuel tank truck. So this is fuel tank number 1 and 2?
2 would be behind the seat. Up
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I could hear it sloshing around a little bit. That's probably not the safest thing in the world, but you know.
So this exhaust has been done within the last 10 years, 10 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly new. It sounds
Yeah,
good.
I like the side pipes for sure.
Yeah.
And so on this side we have the cabiner's space and then the fuel tank.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the little storage locker, sort of a total mystery.
Who knows what's in there? We'll find out though. But this is your tank here that has the nasty, foul-smelling
Okay.
gas in it.
Looks like a big one.
Yeah. Nothing loose on the U-joints, and there's big drum brakes in the back.
Right. And some nice leaf springs.
Mm-hmm.
And a spare that,
Actually has air.
yeah, it's not that old either. At least.
Look at this beefy frame where they mount the bumper to the frame. Oh my goodness. It's
Yeah.
like a tank.
Yeah, you would not want to rear in this truck.
No.
You would be in deep, deep doo-doo in your Volkswagen Beetle.
Yes.
Or just about anything made
Destroy
today.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Honestly, I think with just a few leaks and a tune-up and cleaning, and I would say $1,500 or less, maybe even $1,000 or less. Obviously, I mean, we're not looking to restore the whole thing.
Right.
Just want to clean it up, freshen it up, and fluid services.
Get a few lights working.
Yeah.
Look at that coolant temperature gauge.
Maybe-
It doesn't work, so I don't overheat it.
Let's see if we can get your AC going.
Yes, that'd be great. Okay, so a good truck.
Yeah.
Well, one last mystery.
Get it down and drill that out.
What's inside? Whoa. Okay. The mystery continues. Oh, the seal's kind of stuck, huh?
Hasn't been opened in years.
Yeah. Let down.
Nothing. A carpet.
A little bit of carpet.
We can replace this completely, just unbolt it and put a new one in.
Very nice. Then I can make use of the little cubby. Boy, that is a stale, nasty smelling carpet, though.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Or you can just leave the lock out. It's up to you.
I'd probably just leave the lock off.
Okay.
Well, this is one of my least done purchases in a minute here. Yeah,
Not bad at all.
very, very nice. Thank you so much for watching.